Welcome everyone. I am so excited to be here. I wanted to give some helpful hints and hopefully I will help you on some of the issues that I encountered when grading Activity 2-3. So what I want to try to do is give you some insights on how to improve the code and how you can write efficient code. And this, I believe, will really truly help you in the future in your other ones. So the codes that were submitted were good. The biggest issue was so many of the inputs did not have a proper prompt. So even though the specs didn't necessarily say you need to input a prompt, and that kind of goes without saying if you're running a program and the user's going to look at it, they have to know what to put in. And of course, the specs say that you need to enter quit to exit the program. Of course, the user's not going to know that, so that's why I gave a lot of feedback about prompts and an opportunity for you to correct and resubmit, and some of you have done that and got a higher grade. So what I do want to do is just remind you on the top is always good programming to write some comments. And what you would want to start with is your name. And if you happen to hear football in the background, the Georgia Bulldog Kent State game is on in another room. Hopefully it is not a distraction. So I need to continue now. What I'm going to do is here you can just put Activity 2-3. Now this is not part of the requirements in here, but this is just some good programming, so hopefully I'm going to help you on how to do things in the future. And then you put the purpose of the program, and you would write exactly what it does, is to get a item and a quantity and to print out some information, and then to exit the program when the item is quit. Now, I do want to emphasize that although exiting a program with exit actually works, it's really not advisable to do that in a regular program to end it. That exit is normally used when there's an issue with the program and the program needs to exit, and you exit with a special code in here. It's really better to exit normally using a return statement. So I did not take off for it if anybody did, but I would rather that you did not use that unless you're absolutely using it. Maybe you're using a try and catch, which we really haven't gotten into, but that might be an example if there's something that you just can't get out of. So here, what we're going to do here is start off with some simple code, about half the program. So I have declared a string called products and an integer called quantity. So I'm putting a prop in here, enter item name, but the user is not going to know to put quit. So what I'm going to do is or quit to exit program. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get the products. Now, this is going to just print one product and exit the program. So what I always like to do is before I go and do anything and make any major changes, I always run the program. If there's an issue here, I want to know about it, so let me go and work on that, and let's see if it just prints something. And there are build errors. Okay, so what did we do that we're missing? Unavailable local quantity. Okay, so integer quantity. So let me see what is going on here. Of course, eating here. Now, I did copy somebody's code. So let's look and see why we have quantity and we have products, eating, quantity. So I'm actually right now not seeing an issue. Variable in here, initialized memory quantity. All right, so let's try this. So what we have here is an issue where we're printing something out and we're not actually getting quantity. So we can fix that by initializing it to 0. And I know exactly what the problem is because we're not getting it anywhere in the loop. So let's go here and create a loop. We're going to start off with do, actually while, and I'm going to put products does not equal quit. And we're going to assume that the user is going to put in proper syntax. And then, of course, we need our closing bracket. And I always comment it out, and I'll just put while here, so I know that this belongs to while, and I usually like a space in here. So this product, so this should be, let's put an S here and spell it properly. So now we should get this okay, even though this is not really being used in here. So that's not a problem for right now. So let's go in here and let us go and do, if we press products and use quit, it should never make the loop. So let's go in here now and let's do see out what is quantity. And notice that there's no end line in there, so it goes on the same line. And then let's do cin quantity. Now, if the green line is still there, we may run into a problem. Might be something that I'm spelling wrong. Quantity in here, products in here. So I'm going to delete this and type in and see if IntelliSense finds it, which it did. Alright, so that works out. It did not seem to like that this quantity. I don't know, maybe I spelled something wrong. And so let's run it right now. So what I'm going to do here, the very first time around, I'm going to press quit. And if we do everything right, we should never get asked what the quantity is. Now, the specs say that if quit is done, just to ignore the quantity. And that's fine if you did it that way. I just want to show you some alternatives of how to do things to make your program more efficient. So let's go and run this program and see what happens. Hopefully no errors. Alright, so it says enter. Alright, so now I have an end line that I need to get rid of. So let's type in quit and let's see what happens. Boom. Alright, so we never get into here. So let's get rid of this end line. And we're good here. Now another thing I want to mention that's really not related to this program, but in the clock program, many of you use system CLS and things of that nature, and that's fine. I just want to let you know that the system functions are only Windows functions. So if you run it on a Mac, in all probability, it is not going to work. There's other ways to do it on a Mac, but I just wanted to run that by you. So for all intents and purposes, use it. It's just fine. You want to clear the screen, do system CLS. You want to pause, press any key to continue, system, pause, and there's a whole bunch of other ways to get around that. So let's do apples and 5 and see what happens. So we're going to do apples, and again we need to put a space after program to make it cosmetic, and let's do 5 and keep eating 5 apples a day keeps you happy and healthy. So now we have what is quantity. So now we have an issue. So I did that actually on purpose. I often make mistakes on purpose. So what we need to do is realize when you have a while loop, you usually have the first prompt and seeing outside. You have to duplicate this on the inside in order to do it. So this is a very common issue, which is why I wanted to make sure that you saw it. So all we have to do now is copy this code and enter product name or quit to exit program. And then let's just do something sneaky. Let's just go, let's change this to what is quantity, and let's just change this. We're just playing around. And I'm going to do how many products and we need a space do you have or want. And now let's see when we type in apples if it says how many apples do you have. Again, not part of the program, but just little tricks that I wanted to show you that you might want to use. And here we go. I never did take care of that space. Enter. So let's do apples. And it says how many apples do you have? 5. So now it goes in there. 5 out of 8 keeps you healthy and wealthy. Enter item name or quit to exit. So let's try pears and we'll go through it again. And how many pears do you have? 5. And we'll type in quit. Now, one thing is if you press 0, it's just going to say 0 apples makes you in here. So we're not checking to see if it's 0 or not. So that's not in the specs of the program. So that's not a one. So I think we have the cosmetic thing served over here. And just to get a little extra space, I'm going to put in, this is a shortcut for using nline. And if you want to make a beep, what you can do is alert. So let's just put a little beep here. So what will happen is the system will ring its bell. So let's just do this just for the heck of it so you can see it. And let's run it. And so enter item name, apples. And how many apples do you have? 5. And now we end the game. So enter item. So we need to get rid of that end line in here. So let's type in quit and fix that. So this is why you test and run things. So now enter to in here, and now we're good. So let's run it one more time. And we're going to do apples. And we'll do 5. And enter item on a program. So we'll do pears. And we'll do 4. And then we're going to quit. And that is it. And there's just one other thing I'm going to do to show you. And it's certainly not necessarily, but I just want to show you some little sneaky thing in here. And what you're going to do is, now sometimes it's part of string, and sometimes you need to include something called CC type. And that gives you allowances to do things like to upper, to lower, is alpha, is digit, and that's a way that you can input a string and you can see if it's actually an integer. So just for the heck of it, let's go and do products Now, we cannot do toUpper. There's a function called toUpper. But remember, a string is just like a character array. But strings have much more advantages because a character array, number one, is you're not going to know how many characters are in it at all times. However, what you have to do is declare how many to put in. And what happens if you say 50 characters and somebody's name is 60? Well, there's nothing that you can do. It's going to have a problem. So what we want to do here is remember that products, this is like an array where this is products of 0 is P, products of 1 is R, and 2 and 3 and that. So what I'm going to do, products of 0 equals toUpper products of 0. Assuming I spelled everything right, it should work. So we're not going to do it on the second one, but the first time when I type in apples, it should say capital A and then the rest in here. Now notice what we're doing. We're calculating what toUpper products of 0, where the first letter of products is going to be an A. So this is going to return it and replace it with a capital A. So if I've done this right, then we will get it. If I've done it wrong, then I will go back to watching my football game and take the rest of the afternoon off. So let me go and click on this here, and let's run it and see what happens. Alright, so we're going to type in apples. And this is where the part where I sit and pray so I don't embarrass myself. Let's go and see what happens. It says, okay, how many apples do you have? I'll put in 5. And that takes care of that. Then we'll just type in quit. And we're done. So that is it. I hope that this video has helped you. I tried to keep it as short as possible. I never make videos normally longer than 20 minutes, but I wanted to give you some insights in here. And of course, you want to make sure that in reality you're commenting your code as much as possible in here, so you can put something that says keep entering product names until user presses quit, and or whatever in here that you got. Just trust me, if you look at code that you've written and you don't look at it for a couple weeks or even a month, if there aren't good comments, then you're not going to really understand some of the code that you wrote. So this is it. That's all I got. I'm hopeful that this helps you. I do want to emphasize, if there's a particular video that you would like more information on, I will try my best to get it to you as quickly as possible. And that is it. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. If you are in Florida, there is an upcoming hurricane. I am in Miami, but I know we have some students, I believe, in Tampa and maybe North Florida. So I'll be praying for you that all is well and that the storm does not come near you. So if there is an issue with the storm and you're running into difficulties, then let me know. And of course, we're going to take care of your safety, and family always comes before schoolwork. So that is it. Have a wonderful day. And this will be posted in YouTube, and there will be a link in there. So I am headed to the gym right now. When I come back, I will process it, and this will be available for you either tomorrow or Monday morning. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.